Right, hello and welcome to the Final Whistle podcast. My name is Harry McBain, and joining myself and Bobby Addison today is boxer Joshua Frankham. We're going to be talking about England, Aguero, and much more. So make sure you give this one a listen. So thanks for joining us, Josh. How are you doing?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on the show. Right there, got a call coming through.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There's always someone calling. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. I've been all right. I've been good.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for coming on. So, Bob, we'll start with you. What did you make of that international break? And did it give you any confidence for the Euros this summer?
I think as Harry Redknapp once said, it doesn't matter really how well we do in the qualifiers because, if we can win all 10 games, then we'll go into the tournament and be rubbish. So I think it was all right. Some of the games were a bit underwhelming, but apart from that, there's not really much more you could ask for. We won all the games, so yeah, I think apart from that, there's not really much you could add on to it other than all right to get some good team selection in. And yeah, I think it didn't go too badly, to be honest.
Yeah, and Josh, we've got a strong batch of English players at the moment. Some good young talent. People are saying the best since obviously Gerrard and Beckham. The people that called the golden generation, and they did absolutely nothing. Generally down to poor usage. Do you think that Southgate could get the best out of this group of players, personally him as a manager, or do you think that England will continue to disappoint in the major tournaments?
Well, listen. They had us all going in the World Cup, didn't they? They had us all going. We was all thinking it. Hopefully, listen. I don't know. We've got a good enough squad, but like you say, we've always had a decent squad. England's never had a really terrible squad, have they? They've always had a decent squad, whether it's going to the Euros or the Worlds. They've always had decent, But I think if we're gonna go and win a tournament this year, this is probably the best year to do it. To be honest with you.
And Bobby, do you think that? Obviously, there are a lot of other good teams at the moment. Obviously, France in the last World Cup were amazing. Do you think this England squad's on that level of team? Obviously, Germany's on a bit of a decline at the moment. They lost to Macedonia in their World Cup. I know. But do you think England are on that level?
Yeah, I was shocked about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we definitely have. Yeah, I think we definitely have a good enough squad. If you look at it, I think we 100% have the best players. We have some of the best midfielders in the Premier League. Obviously, you've got Harry Kane, one of the best strikers in the world, which pays me to say as an Arsenal fan, but he is quite good. But yeah, I do think France have a very good team. With all the players they got, Mbappe especially, they're going to obviously be in with a massive chance of bringing it home to their country. But I do think at this point in time, it's got to be the one where England really settle down and go, yeah, we're going to bring this home, lads. But then again, it is Southgate, and you just don't know what he's going to do because he could just be playing 5 back every game and it could just go really poorly. But we'll see. I think we definitely do have a good enough squad, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. They're one of the choices in selection from this set of matches, which surprised me, was Calvin Phillips playing all 3 qualifying matches. Southgate obviously likes him. I have no clue why he was put in there for all 3, because let's be honest, he did nothing. Apart from maybe a defensive role, but they also played him and Declan Rice together, which why you're playing 2 defensive mids against San Marino is a bit confusing. But Bob, do you think he deserved to be playing all 3 matches? Because it's not like he put in anything that made him necessary in the next game.
I don't know. I don't think he. I think I have to agree with you on it being a really weird decision because obviously all the teams we played weren't amazing. Obviously, Poland was the biggest challenge, but I do find it weird to play 2 DMs, and I think obviously Declan Rice is the one you want to be playing more consistently. So yeah, I am with you on it being a bit weird, and would have been more interesting to see some other players get more chances rather than him playing all 3 games.
Yeah, and there were a few people that are left out, some because of injury, some not. One person that was missed because of injury, Jordan Pickford in goal, and we had Nick Pope filling in for him through these 3 games. Who would you rather see, Josh? Would you rather see Pickford in goal or Pope in goal for the Euros?
To be honest with you, I'd probably rather take Pickford.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I probably would. Because listen, he didn't do a bad job in the World Cup, did he?
No.
You know what I mean? He didn't do a bad job. So and he got the experience. I'll probably rather take him, to be honest with you. If it was up to me, who would you two rather take?
Bob?
I don't know. I definitely agree with your point. Like, because he did play really well in the last.
He done
World
all
Cup.
right. He done well.
He did.
He done
He
well.
kept us in it. Like, he made some great saves, and obviously in that the penalty shootout, he was class. Obviously, he pulled us out of it.
So that's what I mean. He's got that experience. You know what I mean? If he goes to penalties again, he's got that experience. So that's why I probably would take him.
Then the only reason that I would consider Pope is just because of, like, obviously recent form. We've seen that Pickford has a little bit, like, he's not been as good.
No.
Yeah, but I think I'll have to. I don't know. We'll see. I can't make my decision yet. I'm not sure.
Well,
one player I think definitely should go is Luke Shaw.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, definitely.
Definitely. If you've been watching it, listen, I'm a United fan. I've been watching a lot of United's games, and he's been our best player. Well, by far, I thought, for the last couple of months, anyway.
Yeah, he did really well in. I can't remember. I think it was Albania when he started against, and let's be honest, he did really well. So I think him and Chilwell at left back would be two good options to take with us.
Yep.
Because they're
definitely
both
sure ahead of Chilwell, though. I think he's miles ahead of Chilwell.
Yeah.
And
some other selection problems was obviously Grealish missed out on these ones because he was injured. Do you think that he's a must go to the Euros, considering how well he's done for Villa when he's not been injured, Josh?
Definitely, I think they should take Grealish. He's a tremendous player. Definitely should go, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, and Jadon Sancho missed out on these qualifiers as well. I don't think there is an injury involved there, but I think he just didn't get picked. There's rumours that Grealish and Sancho will miss out on the Euro squad because Southgate has been impressed with Jesse Lingard. Bobby, what did you think when Lingard was playing in this international break? Because in the first match, the one thing I can say is he was desperate for a goal because he was just constantly trying to score.
No, I think, fair play, he got into the England team. And I get that he's gone to West Ham. And he's been very good. But we've had like the likes of Grealish, Maddison, Harvey Barnes performing like consistently over the season. And now suddenly Jesse Lingard's come in, played a few games, and everyone's like, oh, just bin off all the other them, stick him in the team. He's the best player that England's ever seen. And it's like, I get he's good, but everyone's hyping him up so much. And I just think, a fair play, you play these 3 games. But for me, 100% Grealish has to play, Sancho has to play, and even Maddison plays over Lingard for me just because of, I just think he's generally a better player. But, I'll probably get called out for this because everyone loves Lingard now, apparently. But that's my opinion.
Do you think that Lingard should go to the Euros because of his form, Josh, or do you think that he's not done it consistently enough?
Listen, I'm a United fan, and he wasn't cutting out United. Obviously, that's why he went to West Ham. But now, listen, what you have to think is, who is the informed players? I know, listen, Grealish has been in form all season. I haven't watched much of Sancho. I haven't seen him at all, to be honest. I don't know. He's in form, so you can't knock him. You know what I mean? If he's going to take this form over to the Euros, and take him. But I've seen it before with Jesse Lingard. You know what I mean? So we'll see, won't we? We'll see.
Yeah, it would be a gamble. And one of the players that's not been informed that didn't get it into the squad was Alexander-Arnold. He obviously, that Liverpool not doing well at all this season. And I think very deservedly didn't get into the England squad this for recent games. I would think he would end up going to the Euros though, because just on quality, I guess. I know he'll probably take Kyle Walker. Whether he takes Reece James, because I think we had this discussion a while ago, Bobby, about right backs for England. Obviously, there's quite a few. Wan-Bissaka has even said that he doesn't get called up, then he will represent the Congo instead because he knows he'll play. Who do you think should go? Do you think Alexander-Arnold should go if, let's say, he continues the current level that they're at the moment with Liverpool?
It's really weird because obviously I was saying about form, and so is Josh as well, but I think just because of how consistently good he's been for the last 3 seasons, I think it would be a shame not to take Trent, obviously, because we know how good he can be. But I definitely think that you bring Walker as well, and in the bigger games, that England are going to be defending more. So like against France, I think you have to start Walker just because of his defensive ability. And then I say smaller games, every game's big in a World Cup, but maybe in the teams that we're more willing to score against, like outscore, then you put Trent on the pitch just because, he can make chances, he can stick crosses in for Kane, and, that could be a decent outlet for us on the right-hand side.
And Josh, you said you're a Man United fan. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka saying that he would choose to represent someone else. Do you think that's, do you think fair enough? Because we've got so many good right backs, or do you think he deserves to be in that England team?
Not yet. I don't think he deserves to be yet. He's played well this year for United. He's done all right, but he's not the finished. I know a lot of these young players are not, but he's just not the finished product yet. You know what I mean? He gets down that wing and he don't put a ball in. I don't think he deserves to go yet. You know what I mean? He's a good in and out defender, but I don't know. You get what I mean? Then you get up that wing, putting a ball in. He isn't the best. So no, I probably wouldn't take Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah,
but he's done well this year. He's done very well.
Yeah, and if we look outside of the senior squad, the last few weeks, I think it was the under-21s Euros. England really didn't do very well. They got knocked out in the group stage. I think they won their last game. They lost the first two. They won the last one, but not by enough goals. They didn't progress. And people are calling for the manager Adi Boothroyd to be sacked. Like the team had Curtis Jones, Hudson-Odoi, so it's not as if he had a poor squad. Would that be a job if it were to become available, Bobby? Do you think that maybe you try and get someone like Frank Lampard to do it because he's got a free job? Do you think that he would go to that? Because obviously Chelsea, he's going to have to take a step down somewhere, but like he can get to work with young players. He did that well at Chelsea. And then it could help. Obviously, we've seen England promoting Southgate from that role to a possible England manager. Would you see him being a good fit for the under-21s?
Yeah, well, I do think, Frank Lampard obviously wants to do some sort of managing in his career. He wants to take somewhere, it didn't work out at Chelsea. But I do think that could be a decent role. We've seen that he's progressed Mason Mount quite a lot as he has a lot of trust in the young English players playing his team, along with Tammy Abraham, it was decent when he played under Lampard. Yeah, I do think it could actually be a decent role for him, to be honest, because obviously you've got a decent. So England has so much talent that a lot of the better players are even leaking down in the under-21 team just because they physically can't get into the top team. So I do think it would be good for those players internationally and domestically. Is obviously going to benefit from having him as a manager just because the individual quality that he has. But I do think, I think that is a role that he could take, and it could help him mature, and then either he picks up a job at another club, maybe in the Premier League, or as you said, Southgate sets down, maybe have a bad Euros this summer, and then Lampard takes over. But have to see how it goes.
Yeah, and I saw earlier about jobs. Moving off topic from England and it going up to Scotland with Celtic. Eddie Howe is currently the leading name to take over. Josh, do you think that he's good enough to take that job? Obviously, he did quite well at Bournemouth, but they're a different scale of team, Celtic to Bournemouth, like support-wise.
I thought he done all right at Bournemouth. I think he's a good manager. Hard job to take at the minute. Celtic managers are on top, aren't they? Gerrard's got them playing brilliant. Why not? You know what I mean? Let him go and have a go up there. Whether he gets on well up there, I don't know, but I think he's a good manager.
Definitely. I think a lot of people are a bit skeptical just because it would be a very big job, considering I think a lot of the behind the scenes people are leaving as well. So it would be a complete rebuild. But I guess we've seen that from him with when he was at Bournemouth. He took them from right at the bottom and transformed them back up to taking them up to the Premier League. So I guess that would be a good thing. Obviously, people are also saying Lampard for that. I don't think Lampard would necessarily be a good fit for Celtic if they want to get directly back into it. I don't think he's got enough experience. Another job that people are saying Lampard could take over at is Crystal Palace. If Roy Hodgson, a lot of people reckon he might retire at the end of the season. He's obviously 73. Sean Dyche also being linked. Bob, do you think that could be a good alternative for Lampard? It's still Premier League level. It is a drop down from Chelsea, but it's a team that can be taken to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, it's with the Lampard, it's hard to figure out what he needs to do, because obviously Crystal Palace are a team that are like, where exactly are they headed? Like, what sort of direction do they want to go? They have Zaha, and they've done very well to cling on to him for as many years they have, and they've got a decent amount of goals out of him, and good performances and things like that. But I think as a club, they probably need to figure out where they want to go, because are they going to aim for European football, which it doesn't look like that's going to be possible. I think maybe bringing in Lampard, it could be a saving grace, or it could be, like it could go badly, because obviously we've seen he hasn't been fantastic at Chelsea. He wasn't awful, but he wasn't great. But I think Crystal Palace could be a decent move for him, because then it is a bit lower standards. Obviously, what they're asking him to achieve is going to be much lower than they did at Chelsea. But obviously, he's got worse players, so still sort of balances out in that way. But yeah, I do think it's not the worst idea for him. It could be a decent move, but it depends, as you said before, on whether he goes for that England under-21s role, and if that ever arrives, the opportunity.
I've got it written down, but I've also got a BBC Sport notification. I'll start off with a story beforehand of it, though. Sergio Aguero leaving Man City, being an amazing servant for the club, and obviously being Man City and Man United being rivals. Will you be happy to see him go? Obviously, it's a bit less of a threat to face in the derby, Josh.
I just read somewhere earlier, I think it was on Sky Sports, I think it said Chelsea were in the lead to get him, but I don't know whether he'd go to Chelsea or not. He said he wants to stay in the Premier League, but what a player he's been. He's been a brilliant player, and what a striker. I remember him when he was at Atletico. I think it was the first time I saw him actually play properly was, I think he came on as a sub against Chelsea in the Champions League, and he scored a free kick against them. Do you remember that, any of you?
Sort of, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever seen him play, and I knew he was good then. But what a player he's been for City.
Yeah.
Won him the league, didn't he? Won him the league.
Yeah.
Many times.
Many times.
And there are people wondering what will happen with other transfers, because obviously there was the whole thing of Messi leaving Barcelona this summer. The condition of joining City was Pep's there, Aguero's there. So if Aguero's not there, is that City basically going, we're not going to a Messi because maybe they've had negotiations and he wants too much money? But do you think, Bobby, that's the end of that story if Aguero's going?
I do think slightly. It's probably also based on the fact that, like, at the end of last season, City had they finished in Champions League, but their season came to a really bad end, especially losing to Lyon in the Champions League. And I think Messi was sort of like maybe like a panic thing that the club went through, like, oh yeah, let's just get this done because it could be a big transfer. But maybe now, after they've brought the players in that they did, especially Ruben Diaz, and now they're actually like a pretty solid team, like they're playing very well, I reckon that they'll probably bin that idea off and just look to the future and, go for Kane, which I've seen a lot of people think he could go there, or go for Haaland. Obviously, he's been a City fan for his life. His dad played for City, I think. So, yeah, I think they'll probably go for either of those two people. I do agree. I don't think that the Messi thing is actually going to happen anymore, if I'm honest.
I don't think he'll ever leave, personally.
Yeah, I saw a story the other day and it was looking more likely that he will stay at Barcelona. Especially, I think they've just had their new presidential election, so they've obviously got a new man in charge at Barcelona who can maybe sort him out a deal to stay. Another person linked with Barcelona, as we just mentioned there, Erling Haaland. His representatives were meeting with the Barcelona president apparently at the end of last week, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And we've said they're linking with City. I think it would be very cool to see Haaland at City. I don't think
it would.
Josh, as a Man United fan, would want Haaland to go there. This is the news singer, so I've just seen the notification, and Pep has said that City are unlikely to sign a striker in the summer. So,
really? Does that mean they have faith in Jesus then? Is that what they're going for?
That's what I'm wondering. It was quite strange. Maybe they've had meetings with Haaland and his agents. What will happen about that? Because that's quite strange, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah, that is weird.
I think Haaland will go either Madrid or Barca.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I read earlier on Sky Sports he was having talks with Barca and Madrid. So I think it'll be one of those two. Much as I'd love to see him in the Premier League because I think he's top class. Yeah, but I don't think he'll end up in the Premier League.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately.
If Man United had any sort of guts about him now, I think, well, listen, I don't think Cavani's going to stay. I think Cavani's going to leave, but he's done a good job. Yeah. I think they go for Harry Kane.
Definitely. You think so?
I'd go for Harry Kane. I'd go all out for Harry Kane if you can get him. That's what we're missing. We're missing that in and out goal scorer. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I agree. I think Martial is a bit like he's too hit and miss.
Hit and miss. Rashford, not the best finisher.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd go.
Still a great player, but not a full-on striker.
Player. Not a full-on striker. That's what I mean. We haven't got an in-and-out striker. And Cavani, he's done a brilliant job this year. Have you watched Cavani play this year?
No, yeah. My friend Robbie, as we've said in many episodes before, he doesn't rate him at all. But I think he's actually been fairly good for you. Brilliant.
Especially his work rate as well. I think he's been brilliant this year. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he'll stay, and that means that opens the doors up for Kane. Definitely, I'll go and get Kane, and I think he'll leave as well because he's not going to be winning those trophies with Tottenham anytime soon. No.
Yeah, I think Kane has. I think we said last week on our episode, we said he's got to leave Spurs to achieve any sort of get any chance of winning anything. And
yeah, they're not going to win any trophies.
We also thought, where would he go realistically? We were saying about possibly going to Germany, but I would see him probably staying in England if he was to go somewhere. Maybe it would be interesting to see what City, any clubs do to try and get Kane. Haaland's agent Mino Raiola has maybe that's the reason he won't go to City, because Raiola and Pep apparently don't get on very well. So that could just spoil the negotiations. And I was watching some stuff from TalkSport the other day. And they were talking about whether Raiola, well, apparently they don't get on with Raiola, some of the presenters, but UEFA is supposedly trying to get some more rules in to try and reduce the influence that agents have on the game, because obviously Raiola's massive. Sure he came out saying that Pogba wants to leave, wasn't it? That disrupting basically Man United. Would you think this is a good idea to try from UEFA to try and reduce the agents' influence, Josh?
Definitely, I would. I think, who was it who said it? Was it Roy Keane? I don't know. I can't remember. He shouldn't have come out and said that. That was it. Wouldn't, you know what I mean? When Fergie was about, if an agent would have done that, then you know what I mean. He shouldn't have done that. He should have come out and said that, because it disrupted the full squad. Mm-hmm. So they're having a bit too much to do with the agents now, and I think that would be the perfect move if they could do something like that.
Yeah, and obviously people were saying Haaland with Raiola. I think people were saying Haaland would be better off maybe without him, because now I think maybe Raiola got him the move to Dortmund. Haaland's now arguably the best player in the world, if not about to become. He doesn't really need him to attract the big clubs. And I think generally you can only be with an agent on a 2-year deal for footballers. So that might be coming nearer to an end, his deal with Raiola. So I think probably just bin him, because he's not going to do the best for his career, necessarily going to be the best for the agent, isn't he?
No, definitely not.
And the next thing that I've got on here was a rumour that you'd be interested in, Josh. Pogba to Juventus has been coming out in the recent days with a possible swap in there with Dybala. Would you like to see that happen?
You see it time and time again with Pogba. He's a brilliant player. You can't knock him. But he's very, there you go, hit and miss. You know what I mean? Hit and miss. If he wants to play, he's the best player on the pitch. When he's not interested, forget him. But he's a brilliant player. But I personally think he'll leave. Dybala coming back our way, I don't know. I'd probably rather see Ronaldo come home. It's Man United. It's every Man United's fan's dream to see Ronaldo come back.
I think with Dybala as well, it's a bit pointless, because that's just another attacking midfielder, and you don't really need it.
Pointless. Yeah. I'd love to see Ronaldo come back. Whether it will happen, I don't know. But I'll be all for that if they put Pogba for Ronaldo. But then it's a big miss, Pogba in that middle. Like I said, when he does want to play, he's brilliant.
I agree.
I guess maybe because Ollie kind of likes McTominay and Fred in there, it might be okay if Pogba.
See, I'm not too keen on Fred at the minute. I'm just, I don't know what it is with him. I'm just not too keen on Fred. Did you see the AC Milan game?
I saw the highlights of it.
Yeah, I saw the highlights.
Just come on, done what he had to do. You know what I mean? Just you need top players like that who can come on, make an effect. Done. But Fred, I'm not striking him at the minute. He's done all right this year, but I'm not too sure that he's a player for our centre mid.
Yeah.
So if we were to think about that, obviously Ronaldo coming to Man United, maybe I'm sure Juventus maybe wouldn't mind him going to reduce their wage bill. They might have to in order to bring in Pogba, because obviously he's going to want big money to come back. Bobby, how scared would you be as an Arsenal fan if you were facing a Man United team with Cristiano Ronaldo in it, now that he's at the level that he is now, considering he's a bit older?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe when you have Ronaldo, you might be able to get some points off us, but
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, having Ronaldo, sorry, in the league would be. I mean, I think it would bring a lot of attraction back to the Premier League, and just solidify that it is the biggest league in the world. But yeah, I think if you got him, it's a good thing. But it's not solving any problems, is it? It's just like a short term thing. It's just like, it's cool, but it's not like practical, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No, like you say, it wouldn't be. It's only be a couple of seasons, maybe a season, but I'd still want him back.
Yeah. Maybe obviously we've seen with Cavani and then Ibrahimovic a few seasons ago, just that figure to maybe give United a bit more attack.
And hope that it brings you something home.
Maybe that could be the thing to get Ollie the P teacher his title that he's chasing this season, to try and finally beat Man City. Well, thanks Josh for coming on. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you to everyone for tuning in today. We hope you've enjoyed. So make sure to put the alerts on so you'll never miss a new episode. Thank you. That was The Final Whistle.